What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here with the late review of The Shy, Season 3, Episode 4, titled The Gangway. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode review. Alright, you guys, so this episode damn near gave me a fucking heart attack. I don't even know where I want to start with this episode. Let's see. Because there was nothing like really small that I can talk about right off the bat, but let's see. Where do we want to start at? Let's start with the stuff that got on my nerves. Emmett and Tiffany. So, the episode we see Emmett. So, Emmett is at the park with the baby, and he's getting advice from Darnell. And he's getting advice from Darnell about Tiffany because him and Tiffany are not having sex. And he said, and Darnell was like, well, is she at least sucking your dick? He said, no. And then he asked her, what's her sign? He said, a Scorpio. He said, oh yeah, she cheated on you. She fucking some other nigga. And I'm just like, really? Of all people, Emmett, you go to your daddy, who got how many baby mamas and how many kids? Okay, Emmett, that was smart. You go to him for some advice, but he did tell him that, once you get settled into a relationship, the sex does it does die down. But I mean, damn. Emmett is just a hornball. Like, okay. But he went to fucking Darnell. So then we see Tiffany. So Tiffany is out doing her drop off of, doing some of her weed. So she dropped it off at this dude named Dante's crib. And I was looking at Dante, I'm like, man, I don't know why she don't see it, but homie is coming onto her hella fucking hard. And, he was asking her about Emmett and why she don't post him on, her IG. And she was like, I'm not hiding the world from my nigga. I'm not hiding my nigga from the world. I'm hiding my nigga from the... What did Drake say? She's not hiding her nigga from the world. She's hiding the world from her nigga. What did Drake say? But she called it Drake, basically. So then, he tells her about Dominique. Because he's like, that bitch is bad. And she's a bad actress as well. That's neither here nor there. So then we see Emmett. So Emmett is still with Darnell. He's going through Tiffany's Instagram. Darnell actually told him something that I actually was like, agree with. If she's cheating on you, she's not going to post it on Instagram, and she's probably not going to follow the person. So you're making yourself look stupid. And then Darnell also told Emmett to get a side piece. I'm like, well, that's counterproductive. That's their issue he had. Your son is just like you. Because he got 3 baby mamas. Tiffany, that other girl, and I think it's another one outside of those. The one that we saw in a few weeks ago episode. But get him a side piece so he can get her pregnant. Okay. Great advice, Darnell. Now here's what I did not understand. Tiffany and Emmett went to couples counseling. I think he said it was court mandated, but why? Why y'all going to couples counseling? But whatever. So Emmett says he feels like he and Tiffany are not connecting, and she says, "But we have a son. We always gonna be connected." And they get into it over not having sex. Tiffany tells him the reason that she doesn't want to have sex with him is because she doesn't want to get pregnant. She's not on birth control anymore. And I'm just like, and then the wheels in my head started spinning. I'm like, okay, she's not on birth control. So what happened? Because last season Tiffany was pregnant. Or was it a false alarm? Did she have an abortion? What the fuck happened? Can we explain what happened? But I'm not going there again. So, he tells her, well, why don't you get your tube signed? She said, why don't you get a fucking vasectomy? So then we see him talking to Sonny. And, he's telling Sonny that, she said he should get a vasectomy. He's like, shit, she probably should get a vasectomy, as many kids as she got. But he says, you know what, when it comes down to sex, boy, you should earn it. He says, find out what she like. Do something that she likes to do. So then we see him, he puts the baby down, and he's cooking for her. So it's a romantic night. And we see Tiffany and Emmett. He gave her a massage and everything. So I'm like, okay, you can be sensual. It's not all about just, fucking, you can actually be a romantic guy. And we see that they didn't have sex that night. They actually made love, which I enjoyed that. I mean, I like that for Tiffany and Emmett. But Emmett, slow down, buddy. All right, you guys. So next time, I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna include this together. I don't know what the fuck is going on in my throat. It ain't the one either. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna encompass Duda, Kevin, shit. I'm gonna encompass Duda, Kevin, Jake, and Papa them all kind of together. So we see, Kevin, Jake, and Papa. They're at Duda's pizza place, and they're posting up the flyers of him about being mayor, and they're having a discussion about it. And, in the middle of them doing this, Kevin, got a call from Gemma. And the fact that Jake kept calling her a bitch, he said she a bitch and called her a hater. And, Kevin was like, you keep doing that, man, you'll have to catch a fade. And I'm like, that's right, Kevin, defend your little girl. Defend your lady. I don't know, my voice is going to have to go out. And then, they're talking about, like I said, they're posting these flyers about Doodah. And Papa is talking about the fact that he likes the person that's running against Duda as opposed to Duda himself. He's talking about her suits, how he like how she dresses. So, then some dudes come in there and, they have this thing, they're still, trying to find Keisha. And one of the dudes picked it up and he said, they still trying to find this bitch. And when I tell you Kevin, how, he hit that nigga in the face and punched him straight out, like Kevin did that shit. So then we do see Kevin and Nina. So they're at a mixer. I think they're trying to get donors. I'm assuming they're trying to get donors for the black kids. So and I will say when it comes down to Gemma and Kevin, I think that they are a good match together. I like it. She's about elevating Kevin. Yeah, you used to doing things this way, but elevate yourself, my young black brother, my black king. Like, I like that about her. So, it's a bunch of white people. And so the one woman, she was like, this is Kevin's mother. I'm sorry. Like, she's trying to remember her name. And she's like, Nina. Like, she got a name tag on it and it says Nina. And then, they talking about, they're talking about Kevin and him growing, what he could be growing up. And I was happy when he said he'll be there regardless of how much whatever money you give or not. So then Jake notices Gemma and he's like, why are these people flocking around your daddy? She's like, because he's rich and he got money. He says, well, does he donate to campaigns? She said, yeah, ones that he feels connected to. So then we see Kevin. He introduces Duda to Gemma's daddy and he introduces Duda as his dad. And Duda is also there with his wife, Rosalind, who's played by Candy. And, Rosalind actually first came into the episode. I mean, she just came in there. They were like, ma'am, you need an appointment. I don't need no appointment. I'm his wife. I'm like, okay. And she's like, hey, baby, long time no see. When she said long time no see, are they like separated or something? That's a question that I have for, when it comes to Candy. Well, Rosalind and Duda. So then let's move into after this whole this mix was over. So Rosalind was asking Duda, why is he running for mayor? And he says he's running for mayor because when he was a kid, he told one of his teachers that that's something that he wanted to do, and she told him to take up a trade. And I'm like, how do you tell? Like, if a child tells you something positive that they want to do with their life, instead of uplifting them and encouraging them, you tell them to pick up a trade that's not something that they can do because of where they come from. Like, people come from bad neighborhoods and manage to do very good things with their lives, but for a teacher, nonetheless, a teacher, that's some fucked up shit. Like, terrible shit. So then, we saw a scene at not Kevin, but Papa's daddy's church. and he's up there talking, he's up there preaching. He's telling the people, like he doesn't usually, he's not one, to with the church and state. He doesn't want to mix those lines, but at this point, he basically is mixing those lines because he has Duda's, you know, competition there, who's played by Lena Waithe. Her name is Camille. And listening to her talk, I'm like, wow. For a minute there, I actually forgot that I was watching a TV show, and I thought I was actually watching somebody, talk to me about the shit that was going on. And I'm like, I don't even live in Chicago, so what you talking about? So then after the mixer, Nina and Kevin went to Sonny's to get something to eat. I guess the food wasn't up to our standards because it was white people, you guys. So I'm pretty sure the food went up to our standards. So Nina asked Kevin, has he told Gemma about Keisha? And Kevin says no, that he hasn't told her because he doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. And I'm like, wow, that's really sad. So then we do see Papa. So Papa, after the church has cleared out, actually before we saw Papa, we saw his daddy and Camille. So Camille hands him something, and I'm like, what is she doing? And she's paying him. I'm like, damn. So you're gonna be a crooked politician, huh? I'm not judging, but then Papa asked like, Daddy, why is she paying you? And he's like, stop, get out of grown folks' business. And I'm like, well, that is a good question. Why is she paying you? So then we later see Kevin and Gemma. So they go to the museum, and it's the African American Museum, and I have to say that I do like Gemma. Again, I think she's a great fit for Kevin. 100%. I think she's a solid fit for Kevin. And she went off about I think it was the Nina Simone exhibit. I like it. But let's move on, you guys. Alright, so now let's start where the episode actually began at. So the episode, we saw Keisha. So Keisha was in her room, and she was getting ready to go work out. And I'm like, is this before this happened, or is this like, what is this timeline? So then Dre comes in there, and she and Keisha get into it about the music. And Keisha trying to come at her, but Dre was like, but I pay half of the bills here, so this is my place too. So then Keisha puts her her headphones in, and then she stretches, and Dre notices a tattoo on her. And Keisha's like, you're not gonna tell my mama. She's like, I'm staying out of that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But what I want you to do is tell her before I have to tell her. So then Keisha runs go outside, and she almost gets hit by a car. And then, Dre jumps up and screams for Keisha, but then when she wakes up, she's hearing the same music that Keisha was listening to. So she goes in Keisha's room, and in Keisha's room, Nina's in there, and Nina was in there just to, I guess, feel closer to Keisha. So then Dre asked her, has she talked to the PI? And she says, yeah, but he wants another $5,000. She said, another. She's like, it seems like every time you call him, he wants another $5,000. So also with this episode, and I think with this season, how it's going to play out, I can kind of see it. So I think the season, how it's going to play out is this season is going to be Ronnie's redemption story. No matter how I feel about Ronnie, God, because I can't get over the fact that Ronnie killed Coogie. Like, he killed that kid. So we see Ronnie, so he's in the trash, and that white guy that he was watching last week, he's still watching him. So once he leaves, he breaks into his place, and he's looking around trying to find Keisha. And he heard something, but then he goes down where I go to the like the living room or something, but it was a TV. So then he goes towards the basement, and that basement, when he found some photos in the basement, and I figured it wasn't anything good. After I saw those porno magazines, I'm like, yeah, this dude is probably a pedophile. Ugh. So then, let's see, where So Ronnie, he went to talk to Dre to talk about the man that he fallen, and she's like, well, why don't you just call the cops? He was like, no, if I call the cops, you know, that'll give him time to kind of clean up everything and, you know, clean his act up. He says, I want to go dark. I'm like, okay. So then we do see Ronnie and Dre. They do go and, you know, they go, where'd they go? Oh, they went to the dude's house. I'm drawing a blank, you guys, my bad. So they went to his place and they're talking to him. And, you know, at one point he need, you know, Ronnie in the nuts, and he got in the car and he took off away from them. It's something, you know, I will say when it comes down to this, like, we're on episode number 4, so we're getting ready to go into episode 5. I don't want this whole season to be about us looking for Keisha. I really want us to find Keisha. And when it comes to us finding Keisha, I want Keisha to be alive and well. Ugh. I said because I just got to the part of my notes where I got repulsed in this episode. So we saw Ronnie. He was outside of Sonny's. So, you know, Ronnie is still looking for his cans so that he can recycle and everything. But then he found some food in the trash can and he ate it. I'm like, ugh. Oh, God. How do you do that? I mean, God, you know, no matter what I feel for Ronnie, I just cannot sit and watch a person eat food out of a trash can. I couldn't. Because I would have to say, I would stop and say, you know, are you hungry? Like, you don't have to do that. Like, I will buy you some food. I will literally buy you some food. Whatever you want, I will buy it. Oh, to eat food out of a trash can. So then we do see Ronnie and Dre, so they go back to the white guy's place again. And that's how they beating the shit out of his ass. And, you know, they ask him about Keisha once again, and he says, you know, that is not what he said. How did I type that? He says she's at, he said he just wanted to talk to her, and then he said she's at the beach. So then we see Nina. So Nina got a call, and Nina just kept saying, no. But then she calls Kevin, who's with Gemma, and he didn't answer. So then they do go down to the beach, and they do see a body. And I was like, oh, God, this is Keisha. But Dre says no. Flip her over. And Dre was, and you know, she's like, flip her over so I can see if she has a tattoo. And he was like, she don't have no tattoo. She's like, yeah, she has a tattoo. So then we do see Ronnie. So Ronnie is at the church with Kevin, not Kevin, but Papa's daddy. And he's telling him, you know, what happened. So, and like I said, I feel like this is going to be Ronnie's redemption story because Ronnie feels like it's his destiny to find Keisha. I'm like, yep, it's your destiny to find Keisha to, you know, it's not going to make up for killing Coogie, but if you took the life of one child, if you can save another child's life, people might look at him a little bit differently. And then, you know, Papa's dad is like, you know what, let me help you get closer to God, and maybe you can hear what he's trying to tell you. But you guys, that was Shy. Be sure to like this video. Let me know what you guys think about this season so far. Like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else, and also share this video. And also, you guys, as I say every week, every video, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Also, stay hydrated. And I will talk to you guys later.